What up? It's your man, the old man Winter, and I'm back once again with a new episode of No Holds Barred. Today I'm talking about the movie Leave the World Behind. And it's my summation that this movie is 100% government propaganda. This video isn't going to be too long because I'm not about to pull anything up about it or point this thing out or point that thing out. I might mention a couple of the examples here and there, but this matter with this movie is pretty much cut and dry. It's obviously on its face meant to be a tool of confusion. It throws a lot of things at you at one time. If you've seen the movie, everything is going on all at once. They're hitting you with new plot points. They're throwing this at you, throwing that at you. And it's my belief that the whole thing was concocted by government scientists and psychologists. Honestly, the way the movie was put together, the way it was designed from start to finish, all of the confusing elements, throwing all these different things in a pot at once, meant to honestly cause a uh, panic amongst the people subconsciously. I believe the movie was created to move people to be more well to for the people to see war as being more palatable. In this day and time, we are the we as a country are really exhausted of war. We're tired of the government steady finding numerous petty, ridiculous excuses for war. People are a lot more quote unquote woke nowadays. So I'm even seeing like redneck white people on social media when they believe it was a threat of war, talking about Joe Biden. We aren't gonna let you send our daughters and sons to war. We're refusing to go to war for you if you decide you're gonna take the country to war. So it's my belief that the government is coming up with all type of sideways methods to get their message across to the people subconsciously, overtly and not so overtly at the same time. And again, I believe this was a carefully curated movie by government top level scientists and psychologists that put all the elements together to play with the mind of the masses that are watching it. Then they created a huge media wave. You've seen this movie all over everywhere, all over social media, all over the normal media. It reached the media cycle on a huge basis. And my experience of looking at stories that should be national news that gets absolutely no coverage and gets buried in the news cycle, mainstream media completely ignores some of these things that should absolutely be national newsworthy news, breaking news, or things that should be brought to the public eye. It never makes it to the public, but this movie somehow makes the cycle all the way around the whole country. That's by design. They want everybody to see this movie. They want everybody to be confused by the movie. They want everybody to subconsciously be afraid of a cyber attack or war with Russia or North Korea or Iran or um, China. In the movie, like I said, I give a couple examples of the elements that makes this movie a 100% a government psyop. In the movie, notice they mention all of the, like I just stated, all of the countries that America wants an excuse to go to war with. Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, they all were mentioned in this movie possible as being the possible culprit for the things that are happening in the movie. But at the same time, there's a supernatural aspect to the movie happening at the same time. All of these real world attacks are happening in the movie. For instance, this is something that's very subtle in the movie that most people didn't even notice, which means how can this be actually something logically happening? The pictures in the background, if you notice the pictures, and I don't recommend nobody going back and watch this again if you didn't notice the first time. Just it's whatever, because like I get say the whole movie is complete propaganda. It's meant to cause a wave of fear and subconsciously make war more palatable to the senses of the American people. But if you did notice, the pictures were changing throughout the course of the movie, like the different acts, like the background in the bedroom, the back splash of the wall, the accent wall against the backdrop of the headboard. As the movie went on, it was like a calm water, and then the picture started changing to where the waters were more turbulent as the movie went on. Now, if this was a movie that was supposed to be based in reality, we all know that then nobody come every day and paint the room a different picture every day to change the scenery. So obviously something supernatural is happening in the movie, which was a very subtle. At the end of the day, it was like they didn't want you to notice it, or if you did notice it, that was to be something that subconsciously you noticed as well, because it was real subtle. And several other pictures were changed in the movie as well. The thing with the deer. The thing with the deer, they gave an explanation of migration and stuff like that with the animals and the deer. So it's like, it seemed a little weird, it seemed a little sci-fi, but this could be the effects of whatever these noises are or this, that. So you don't know. But at the end of the day, the picture thing lets you know that this can't be reality. So there's other theories that it could actually be the rapture, and that's why it's not a lot of people around. And these are the people that's left that wasn't taken up in the rapture. These were the sinners that was left that didn't accept God. But at the end of the day, it was just jumbled up jambalaya basically. They just threw whatever they could in there just to keep you on your toes, keep you confused. And I believe honestly, even the ending where everybody was disappointed in the ending, I believe that was part of the propaganda of the movie as well. I think the movie was meant to be kind of terrible. Like I say, I believe government scientists and psychologists who created this movie. I think they didn't want people really to focus on the end. I think they wanted people to be disappointed in the payoff of the movie, and actually, I think that's was part of making people ponder on all of the other ridiculous stuff that was going on in the movie that was nonsensical at the end of the day. Um, and to maybe even convince people to go back and watch it a second or maybe even third time thinking that they missed something. You missed nothing. The whole movie was nothing but an agent of confusion. That's all it was. Is confusing for confusion's sake. Um it wasn't meant to make sense because it don't make sense. Like I just explained, there's a bunch of supernatural crap going on in there, so it couldn't have been a realistic cyber attack. What type of cyber attack makes the paintings change? Makes the pictures and paintings change. You know, so and then there's even some theories that those sounds were supposed to be the trumpets from the seven seals breaking, maybe the first three seals of the seven seals breaking. Some people even believe that's those sounds actually could have a real impact on people for real in the real world hearing those sounds. And to be honest, I would not put that past the government, as research shows now. Sound um, actually has a great effect on people. They've done experiment, well, great effect on the world as we know it. They've done experiments with water where they basically shout negativity in the water, and the water after a while the water becomes dark and murky and nasty and disgusting, and then they use positive reinforcement. This for plants and water. Positive reinforcement towards the plant or the water, and it grows more healthier, or the water stays nice and clear and clean, or the plant starts dying, or the water starts getting dark and murky. So these are real life experiments where sound and energy can actually affect things in the real world. So those sounds, like I say, those could have been curated by the psychologists, scientists, or whatever government agents to have an effect on anybody that hears it or certain people that hears it. Just like in the movie itself, where the boy seemed to be the only person that had an adverse effect, and they didn't even, like I say, it was confusion for confusion's sake. So you weren't sure whether what was happening to the boy was because of the bug bite, or was it the sound that affected him because he looked like he was more affected by than the other people. Was it a combination of both made him more susceptible to the sound? Like, it was just a bunch of, like I say, nonsensical nonsense for nonsense sake at the end of the day. So I just wanted to come on here and give my 2 cents about that movie and let it be known to the masses that the movie is complete BS at the end of the day. It's confusing for confusing's sake. They trying to throw a whole bunch of stuff at you, keeping everybody off their toes, everybody not knowing what's going on. You don't know what's going on because there's nothing going on. It's just government propaganda meant to make you be more palatable to the idea of war, because it's putting in the psyche of the people that we could be getting attacked from all sides and we don't know where it's coming from. So if Biden decides we need to go on the offensive against Russia, maybe we should do that, because maybe they might really do a cyber attack against us, or maybe they might really do create some type of experimental technology. And then think about it. Don't this all seem to go hand in hand with those mysterious uh, balloons that were supposed to be flying all over America? And now that's even another element. Could it have been a alien invasion? They just had a shot. It was just everywhere. They had a shot of seeing the Earth from the perspective of the moon with the flag on the moon, and seeing some type of eclipse of the Earth being an eclipse for the moon. So they just had a whole bunch of bull crap. It's so much bull crap. It's got with me talking about it just all over the place with the shit, because the whole movie was all over the place to begin with. It was just that much bull crap being thrown together in one pile at one time. So yeah, I just want to get on here and discuss this movie, and let anybody that might run across this know, or if they researching this movie or thinking there's something to it. It's nothing but government propaganda. It's nothing but a movie um maybe made to make people be more palatable for war. Like I said, American people are fed up for war, so the government has to come up with more creative ways to make us be willing to go along with the program. And this country really is hanging on by a thread. So when countries start declining and going down, they start pulling all type of desperation moves of desperation and things like that. Even the Mayan civilization, when that civilization, or the Aztecs was one of them. towards the end of their civilization, when things start going down and things start becoming unsustainable, and their societies seem to be collapsing right before their eyes, is when they start ramping up the human sacrifices. They start, killing their own people um, at record numbers from what their normal sacrificial ritual schedule was back then. They amped it up umpteen times, you know what I'm saying, trying to save their civilization. So when civilizations are in decline, as it seems America might be, all this, in which they are real world threats in the real world. Their enemies are like teaming up um, like the Super Friends or whatever the bad guy group was, the Legion of Doom or whatever you call them. They all teaming up to maybe be gearing up to take down this society. So we're in desperation mode. They come with all type of weird propaganda, um, uh, biological warfare against our own people, fear campaigns, fear mongering, a ramp up of the police state and the prison industrial complex. All of these things are symptoms of a declining civilization, and we may be seeing it right before our eyes because our current political structure refuses to um, do things that do the things that are necessary to advance our society. And one of the things that this country wants to hold on to and seems to hold dear to, and is going to be really its death pill, is the refusal to confront and actually eradicate racism, anti-black racism. And everybody say, yeah, old man Winter, it's always about racism for you. But it really is, because that's the poison pill for this country. Um, the America's racism is like cyanide in the belly, slowly killing the country. Unless the country gets a stomach pump and actually does something about this racism problem that has been documented to have cost this country, maybe, I believe the study was in 2016, or 2017, 18. It was a couple of years back. But at that time, it was stated in the study that America's racist practices have cost this country $16 trillion. And you know that number has gone up exponentially since them years ago. And that's through a combination of all type of factors. Probably going from lawsuits to just the money that could be generated if we lived in a more fair and equitable society, as far as black businesses actually being able to thrive instead of being sabotaged, and the money that we generate through doing proper business with black people as well as everybody else, the same way that they treat everybody else. Um, it's just a whole magnitude of factors that go into those numbers. But at the end of the day, America's racism is slowly killing the country from within. And until we confront that, until this country makes it right for what they've done to our people, then it will continue to go down, and it may potentially collapse within our lifetime. So I think we all should be looking at things from that lens and prepare ourselves for the what if and the just in case. Racism isn't a side note, and I find it very funny that all of the white supremacist, right wing psychopaths, their main go to is to try to downplay racism and act like racism don't exist. That's the calling card of the racists right now, is to try to convince us, spewing anti-black racism all the way up until the point that they turn around and in the next breath tell you racism don't exist. But then you'll you will have a conversation with them, and then in the next breath after that, before that, they said all type of racist shit. And after that, they'll start giving you all these statistics of how black people are this, or black people are that, or black people cause all the murders, or all their little skewed statistics that they create to try to make it seem like black people uh, are inherently bad or detrimental to society. So why does these statistics exist if racism doesn't exist? Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. But that's a story for another day. Getting back to this movie, Leave the World Behind. Yes, it's trash. It's garbage. Like I say, I believe it was even designed to be as garbage as it was. It was not designed for you not to get a payoff at the end and may convince you to go back and watch it again to believe you might have missed something and maybe get a double dose of them sounds or anything. I don't put anything past the government at this point. So, um, just keep your eyes and ears open, and keep your head on the swivel out here. It's your man, old man Winter, signing out, and we out. Peace.